Yes, guys, welcome to Neeks Sports. We are going to be discussing the PFA Player of the Year nominations and, of course, the PFA Young Player of the Year. First and foremost, obviously, 6 players been chosen for each category. PFA Player of the Year nominations: Virgil van Dijk of Liverpool, Bernardo Silva, Man City, Eden Hazard, Chelsea, Raheem Sterling, Man City, Sadio Mane of Liverpool, and Sergio Aguero of Manchester City. First and foremost, are there any big omissions that you think people should have been there that aren't there? Anyone that's missed out unjustly, Ramon?
Salah. I don't understand. I'm not quite sure why Salah's not on the list personally. I think if Salah came to the Premier League this year, didn't have the season he had last year, he'd definitely be on that list. Because we'd just be like, wow, this guy is calm. He scored 19 goals in the Premier League. Is it 18, 19 goals in the Premier League?
19,
yeah. And he's been brilliant. And I think also the timings of when it came, he was off form, when the players had to vote for who they want. So if this had been done when he was in his hot scoring form and Mane was in, so I feel like for me personally, he should be in there above probably Bernardo Silva.
Really? Bernardo Silva's... Some people are saying that he's been Man City's best player. I mean, personally, I think Sterling has, but...
He's not been better than Salah for me.
No, I'd say Hazard, man, bro.
I think Hazard's been sick. The thing is, Hazard, I think out of anyone in that list, for me, Bernardo Silva, as good as he has been for Man City, and he has been brilliant. I said this in a halfway through the halfway through the season, but Salah's been... He's been phenomenal. Like,
I would argue Aguero's probably Aguero and Mane for me would be at risk more than anyone else of coming off that list ahead of Bernardo Silva or behind Bernardo Silva. Because I would say Bernardo Silva and Sterling's been better for Man City. As important as Aguero is, but I think they've been better for Man City this year.
I don't know. I think as Aguero and Sterling should definitely be on that list. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. I just think Salah. I just think the timings of it just hasn't worked out for Salah. But this is how the awards go. I don't think he was ever going to win it really anyway. But yeah.
Do you agree? I know on the podcast we spoke about Mane, Salah. Who would you rather in your team in the running? If you only could pick one, do you agree that Salah should be on the list? And if so, above who?
No, yeah, he should be on the list because he's been having a good season. My guy scored 18 goals. It's a good season for him. Like, obviously last season, like, it was like amazing, but this is actually a good season for him. Like, I feel he should probably be in it over Hazard because Hazard hasn't really had a great season. I don't even know why he's been nominated, but yeah, like, he should be in it over Hazard or maybe even over Aguero.
That's 2 people, Carl, that said Hazard. No, I said, you said
Hazard.
Silva. But you said Hazard should be off. Why? Because people say, obviously, I know Chelsea are only 5th at the moment, but in terms of like contribution, goals, assists,
he's right up there. Yeah, so yeah, he has. No, he is. And obviously, you could argue that of all the players that are on that list, you've got 3 Man City players.
Yeah,
and
2 Liverpool and 1 Chelsea.
Yeah, and he plays for the worst team out of everybody else. Everyone else plays for Liverpool and Man City, so he's having to work harder in a worse team to get his numbers up, his goals and assists. But I just think that he just hasn't been impactful. Like, yeah, he may have the figures, the goals and the assists, the total number of contributions, but in terms of impact, winning games when Chelsea need them to win, they're fighting for top 4. For a player that's having such a good season, that top 4 should be a breeze for them. I'm not saying a breeze, but they shouldn't be fighting Arsenal for top 4. That shouldn't be happening. But it's because he's getting numbers in moments that don't really matter. Mane's there because he's come up clutch for Liverpool when they needed him.
Yeah.
Van Dijk has come up clutch all season, every game.
Yeah.
He's come up clutch. Sterling has come up clutch all the time for Manchester City. Hazard's not coming up clutch. And I think Salah has had his moments. Okay, he wasn't as often or as much as last season, but he's had his moments. And
it's a tough one because I think when the point you're making about the top 4, for me, it isn't a reason not to put him in, because if you look at like the year that Van Persie, I think he win it when he got a golden boot. Yeah. And the year after, which Gareth Bale won it, both of them were fighting for top 4 and got into the top 4 that year. So, and for their performances kind of lifted their team to that. Now, Chelsea, Hazard definitely been Chelsea's best player, 100%. But I would say, yeah, Van Persie and probably Bale had bigger clutch moments, last-minute winners, etc., ahead of someone like Hazard. But he's been so important for Chelsea that if they were to get top 4, obviously, you know, there's Kante and there's other players, but you got to really put it more down to him. Now, I mean, top 4 is not even a trophy, so it's, you know, what we say, because they finished 4th. It's a target, yes, but you're still the 4th best team in the league if you get there. But I think with the amount of goals and assists he has got, I think it'll be very difficult to leave him out. I'm like, yeah, if Salah was to get in, for me, it had to be ahead of Aguero or Mane. If we're talking about the whole season, Mane started off very well. Then he had a patch where he didn't really do nothing, and he's kind of ending it well. Salah, I think he's a victim of his own success. Because of how good he was last year, people are not appreciating to the same extent of what he's doing this year. For me, this is a normal Salah. This is the Salah I even expected. 15 goals more. 15 goals, 10 assists, 15 assists maybe, something like that. That's a Salah I expected when he came from Roma. Yeah. But even then, he's getting 20 goals possibly this season, that kind of thing. So, yeah, he's at 18 at the moment. So it's still a very good season. Who do you think is going to win it in one word? Who do you think should win it? Not who.
I think.
Who would you vote for?
I would vote for Raheem Sterling. I think Raheem Sterling has been the best player in the Premier League this season for me, but I don't think he won.
Oh.
No, I'd give it to Virgil van Dijk.
I haven't got an answer for this.
Yeah, I need an answer. Who would you give it to? If you were voting, who would you give it to?
I'd vote for Sterling.
See, I would like to leave my vote to the end of the season and give it to whoever the Premier League winner is
That's
between Sterling and Van Dijk. But if I had to vote now, I have to give it to Sterling. I have to. It's a tough. Like, whoever wins it, for me, they deserve it between those two. And I can't begrudge either, but I think I would just give it to Sterling. Quickly, young player, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Declan Rice, Bernardo Silva on there again, David Brooks from Bournemouth, Raheem Sterling, Rashford, Man United. I don't understand how Rashford is there. Who would you give the young player the award to?
Raheem Sterling.
Yeah?
I mean, you just have to get to the best player in that category, and it has to be Sterling for me.
Regardless of the age. Yeah.
And especially because he might even win PFA, so especially if Van Dijk gets it.
Yeah, I'd give it to Raheem as well. But just quickly, how old is Wan-Bissaka? Because why is he not there?
I know. For me, I think that's probably the biggest travesty that he didn't get on there.
Should have been there.
Oh yeah, Sterling as well.
Yeah, I think Sterling, he should get double. And that's what? Ronaldo, Bale, that's it. Let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win the PFA Young Player and Player of the Year awards.